state has money, and the state spends money investing in institutions and in students. So I want to talk about Indiana. I want to talk a little about Tennessee, because both are examples of states that are using that leverage of the investment they're making in students to build in these success components and make sure that there's a better return on that investment, both for students and the state. So both of these states have outcomes-based funding, so the appropriations that go to institutions are in part based on the outcomes those institutions are getting. But these states didn't stop there. So the 21st Century Scholars Program in Indiana is a first of its kind, first in the nation Promise program. It's 25 years old now. It might be actually 26 years old now. And that program is different from the free college that we've heard more about lately. This is an early Promise program that free and reduced lunch students in 7th and 8th grade can sign up and get the promise that if they make it through high school, graduate, and go to college, that they get first dollar free tuition. So tuition and fees totally covered. And several institutions also offer 21st Century Scholars a wraparound support where they get their room and board and some of their other costs for free as well. So it is free college for low-income individuals. That program for a very long time required sign-up, and then the next touch point the state would have with the student was when they went to college and filed their FAFSA and got that award. In 2011, our General Assembly started looking at this program and put some new requirements in place to try to make sure that students were doing the things during high school that were going to help them succeed in college. So that 2011 legislation raised the required GPA from 2.0 to 2.5 in high school, required a more rigorous Core 40 diploma from high school, and then also had this sort of vague requirement of an academic success program that in the legislation was not defined at all. But when the commission implemented that, it really used it to take the things that students probably were going to have to do anyway, apply to colleges, do campus visits, file the FAFSA, and just sort of package it and make it seem like this is your success program. It was branding the things that already needed to be done, but making it very clear for students when they needed to be done and how to do them. Also in 2013, then the legislature came in and added another requirement at the post-secondary level that 21st Century Scholars complete 30 credits per year. That's important because the 21st Century Scholar Award lasts for 4 years. So if you're not done by the end of that 4 years, you're facing a very tough choice of more debt, dropping out. What do I do? How do I finish that 5th year when I don't have this funding anymore? So I will tell you that being in Indiana when those changes were put into place, what was difficult about it was that this was a long-standing program. So adding new requirements to it in many ways felt like making it harder, maybe taking something away from some students. So politically, that was the difficulty there. Now, what Tennessee did, they had an opportunity with a new program. So when they came out with the Tennessee Promise of free college tuition at any 2-year institution, that was new dollars. So they were able, with not nearly as much political blood spilling, to be able to say, if you're doing these things, you're going to be a full-time student, you're going to do mentoring, there's community service. So Tennessee was able to put those into a new program to use that leverage of the new dollars to get students doing activities that are going to help them graduate. I want to show you what that looked like. Just the one requirement for 30 credits for 21st Century Scholars, in 2 years after that passed, you can see dramatic increase in the percentages of students that were completing those 30 credits and staying on track for on-time graduation. You've seen a lot of these programs, these new Promise programs, popping up across the country that are using those dollars to drive student behavior. You see several examples of that, including in New York. What I haven't seen a whole lot of is states using these new investment dollars to drive institutional change. So we have leaders on the stage that are doing the right things because they're the right things to do. Disruptive innovation is disruptive. So it's not something that is going to happen naturally in all campuses that are serving all of our students. So if we know that passing Gateway Math and English in the first year is critical to students graduating, why would a state invest dollars in a school that's putting them through 3 layers of remediation with no chance of ever getting to that Gateway course in the first year? Why would the state make that investment in a college that isn't serving students according to the best practices